Today on Public Eye News, Whitmer urges halt of high school classes and youth sports, and Prince Philip, the husband of Queen Elizabeth II, died at 99.
Lady Brady will have your weather for the weekend, and Scott will have your sports update. Hello, I'm Megan Tarcia.
And I'm Mitchell Reif, and this is Public Eye News. Recent news on COVID-19, WLUC-TV reports a variant of the virus was detected in Delta County. Health departments say this is more cause for concern due to the spread of this new mutation of the virus. The health department states, quote, B.1.1.7 variant is approximately 50% more transmissible, leading to the faster spread of the virus and potentially increasing numbers of cases, hospitalizations, and deaths, end quote. According to TV6, parents interested in scheduling appointments for their children should contact the Public Health Delta and Menominee during regular business hours. In Michigan, Governor Gretchen Whitmer urged a 2-week suspension on high school classes, sports, and indoor restaurant dining. She says, quote, it's less of a policy problem that we have and more of a compliance and variant issue that we are confronting as a state, end quote. The state health department strongly encourages those schools that remain open and face-to-face to enroll in Michigan's COVID-19 testing program. In Detroit, Richard Bernstein, a Michigan Supreme Court justice, returns from a 3-month international program that helps to improve our society's perception of people with disabilities. Participating in 12 cases over Zoom, Bernstein comments that he can be a successful judge from wherever he's based. After arriving in Israel, he closely worked with a group called Access Israel, inspiring people while sharing about his life as a blind judge and lawyer.
Northern Michigan University students got some important information today after President Fritz Erickson shared the news that COVID-19 vaccinations are headed to NMU's campus. The NMU Health Center will be receiving a shipment of the Johnson & Johnson one-shot vaccines. The school says it will only administer to full-time or part-time students on a first-come, first-served basis, and is free for anyone eligible. The clinics being held distribution will be held April 13th and 14th by appointment only, and students will be able to sign up through an email that was sent to them earlier today. A 33-year-old man from Adrian, Michigan has been arrested after driving to the Perry Nuclear Power Plant near Cleveland, Ohio, and telling security officers that he had a bomb in the trailer attached to his truck this past Wednesday evening. The man is being held in jail with multiple charges, including a false alarm charge, and officers say there's no ongoing threat to worry about. A statue in the heart of Monroe, Michigan is at the center of controversy as the city council votes on how to move forward with it. The statue is of General George Custer, who was recognized as a hero after fighting in the Civil War, but later went on to war against Native Americans. The city council voted to hire an expert who can try to reach a community consensus on what to do with the statue. The council's options as of now are to remove the monument, move it to another location, or adding more information next to the statue. After this break, we'll be back with your national and international news.
This is amazing.
On Finding Your Roots, actor John Lithgow.
I never dreamed that I was personally connected to this.
And journalist Maria Hinojosa.
These are ancestors that I did not know.
Family shockers.
No!
400 years old.
My ancestors came over on the Mayflower.
Plus a DNA match.
Wow.
Turn the page. That explains everything.
Finding Your Roots.
Tuesday night at 8 on WNMU-TV.
Public Eye News. In London, the tough-minded Prince Philip, husband to Queen Elizabeth II, has passed away at 99. The prince was well known for heading hundreds of charities and founding numerous programs that helped British children participate in outdoor adventures. Philip assumed his role as a provider and supporter to his wife and her reign as queen. Michael Parker, former private secretary of the prince, states, quote, he told me the first day he offered me my job that his job, first, second, and last, was never to let her down, end quote. Sharing over 7 decades with his wife and experiencing nearly a century of European history, he surely will be missed. Last Friday, Russian and American space travelers successfully took off and arrived at the International Space Station. American astronaut Mark Hai and Russian cosmonauts Oleg Novitsky and Petrov Dubrov launched as scheduled at 12:42 p.m. The launch came just a couple days before the 60th anniversary of the first launch for NASA's space shuttle. Von der Hey stated, quote, "As time went on, we realized that by working together, we can achieve even more. And of course, that's continuing to this day, and I hope that it will continue into the future," end quote. The three will be working together on hundreds of experiments in biotechnology, physical science, biology, and earth science.
La Soufriere volcano on the island of St. Vincent in the Caribbean is no longer dormant after its unexpected eruption this morning. Evacuation orders were put in place Thursday night for 16,000 people who live in the red zone near the volcano, but as of now, luckily, there are no casualties reported after the initial explosion. And if any of you are planning to take a trip to Yosemite National Park this summer, be prepared to have to make a reservation. The park is requiring advanced reservations from May 21st until September 30th. These limitations are to limit the amount of visitors coming into the park and to allow for social distancing to take place. More on the royal family's terrible loss today. Britain's Prince Philip died today at 99 years old. And Queen Elizabeth's husband was just months away from his 100th birthday. CBS's Ian Lee reports from Windsor, England.
Signs of a nation in mourning. The flag at Buckingham Palace flies at half-staff. The news of Prince Philip's death posted at the gates. The 99-year-old royal passed away peacefully this morning at Windsor Castle.
Prince Philip earned the affection of generations here in the United Kingdom, across the Commonwealth, and around the world.
Prince Philip, also known as the Duke of Edinburgh, was last seen in public a few weeks ago after he spent a month in the hospital for an infection and a heart condition. He was the longest royal consort in British history and was at Queen Elizabeth's side for more than 7 decades. Historians say the prince will be remembered for both his charm and, at times, controversial comments.
He was probably the most good-looking royal in history, but at the same time, he had his opinions. He knew what he was thinking. He was never easily swayed, and so she could depend on him in a way that no one else could.
People are already laying flowers here at Windsor Castle. This is where Prince Philip spent much of the pandemic with the Queen.
He was one of the best royals, if I'm honest, you know what I mean, kind of thing, had a great character, charisma.
The Greek-born aristocrat, who served in World War II, retired from public engagements several years ago. He carried out more than 20,000 of them on behalf of the Crown.
A Texas cabinet company that was the scene of a mass shooting yesterday says it's fully cooperating with the investigation into the tragedy. One person was killed and 5 others were wounded. An employee is now charged with murder and is being held on $1 million bonds. Maria Villarelli has more from the scene.
PD's got a report of active shooter at 350 Stone City.
The chaos unfolded as shots rang out at a local cabinet manufacturing facility. Police say the gunman entered Kentmore Cabinets and opened fire, leaving 1 person dead at the scene. A source said he was armed with an assault-style rifle. By the time police arrived, the suspect had already fled the area.
Hey, I need a couple trauma kits over here with a gunshot victim.
5 people with gunshot wounds were immediately taken to the hospital. Another person was also hospitalized after suffering an asthma attack. About an hour after the shooting, sources tell CBS News multiple law enforcement agencies tracked the suspect to his home about 30 miles away. As police attempted to apprehend the suspect, he opened fire, striking a trooper.
The trooper who was injured was flown to here, St. Joseph's Hospital, where he is in stable condition.
The suspect was finally taken into custody about an hour later. Police have identified him as 27-year-old Larry Bolin. Police say he's an employee at the facility and he's been charged with murder.
Everybody's in shock because the guy, he was a very peaceful guy and calm. You know, he was very calm all the time.
Investigators have yet to determine a specific motive for the shootings.
We live in this nation that got all the blessings, and I don't know why this happened. I don't get it.
The city of Bryan actually borders College Station, Texas, which is the home of the Texas A&M Aggies. They are very tight-knit here, and this community is starting to rally around the victims of this shooting, as well as the owners and the employees of the business behind me. As of right now, we do know that the trooper is in stable condition, and the 4 other victims that were taken to the hospital are still listed as critical. Mireya Villarreal, CBS News, Bryan, Texas.
And after this break, Brady will have your weather report and Scott will have your sports update. Stay tuned.
We were just trying to be scientists.
There's a playbook, and it was written by men.
You get used to being invisible. Being left off an email, not being invited to a collaboration where you're the clear expert.
It was bullying.
How many great discoveries have just been lost to us because we didn't have the eyes to see?
Picture a Scientist on Nova.
Wednesday night at 9 on WNMU-TV.
And welcome back. I am your weatherman, Brady Hinshaw. I am behind me on this beautiful NMU campus. There are some gray clouds in the sky, and if we look at our current conditions, we have cloudy skies with a temperature of 52 degrees, winds out of the southeast at 14 miles an hour, and barometric pressure of 29.61, and falling. Looking towards tonight, we have some rain in the skies with a low of 43, winds out of the south at 10 miles an hour. Looking towards tomorrow, we have some more rain with a high of 51, winds out of the south, southeast at 9 miles an hour. Now, if we look over at the beautiful UP, it is all covered in clouds with 53 in Sault Ste. Marie, 49 in Manistee, 46 in Escanaba. Now, if we take a look at our western half, we have 51 in Menominee, 53 in both Iron Mountain and Ironwood, 57 in Houghton, and back in beautiful Marquette, it is 52. Looking at the week ahead, we have Sunday, a high of 54 and a low of 39 with rain. Monday, a high of 49 with a low of 38 and rain. And Tuesday, a high of 35 and a low of 35 and cloudy skies. And on to Scott Minshaw with the sports.
Thanks a lot, Brady. Following up on a story we reported earlier, Governor Whitmer's request for a 2-week pause includes the temporary stoppage of youth sports throughout the state. The governor stressed that this is just a request and not a mandate, but that this is the best course of action to reverse the current spread of the coronavirus. The pause for youth sports is a reaction to the recent outbreaks of COVID-19 that can be directly related to youth sports, teams, and events. Currently in Michigan, all youth athletes are required to be tested regularly in order to participate in practice and games, but recent outbreaks have shown that may not be enough. Officials are hoping that this pause will be enough to curb the spread of the virus. New details have emerged about the crash that left professional golfer Tiger Woods severely injured. According to a report by the Los Angeles Sheriff's Department, Woods was extremely confused following the crash and had blood pressure too low to administer any type of pain medication. An empty pharmaceutical bottle was also found at the scene of the accident, but it had no label or any way to identify what type of pills were inside. Woods told investigators he does not remember driving, and the black box of the car revealed he applied the gas pedal at 99% in the final seconds before his vehicle left the road. While the cause of the crash is still uncertain, the Sheriff's Department did state they will not be filing any charges or citations as a result of the accident. MLB pitcher Trevor Bauer of the Los Angeles Dodgers is currently being investigated by the MLB for using foreign substances on baseballs. During a game this week, umpires collected balls thrown by Bauer that had visible markings and were sticky. The balls were then sent to MLB headquarters to be examined. Even if the balls are found to have foreign substances on them that violate MLB rules, the league would still have to prove without a doubt that it was Bauer who was responsible for the application of the substances. The investigation is still in the beginning stages and not much is known about the case. Well, Megan, it definitely seems like it's going to be a nice weekend. You got any plans coming up?
I do, actually. I was just making some plans with some friends to possibly go up to Houghton.
Oh, that sounds like good. Take advantage of the weather, get out and enjoy the beautiful UP that we have. We've had some really nice weather recently. You've been swimming in Lake Superior. I know there's been some NMU students that have been taking a dip in the lake.
Oh, I guess that's all the time we actually have for you today on Public Eye News. I'm Megan Tarcia.
And I'm Scott Minshaw. Thank you for tuning in, and tune in Monday for another edition of Public Eye News.
The preceding program was produced by WNMU-TV, Northern Michigan University Public Television, in studios located in Elizabeth and Edgar Hardin Hall.